So what are the various layouts I am interested in? So what I am going to do is that I am going to create an object for this, this, and this in Java in this class. So that is what is my next responsibility. And for that, I am going to write the code. So let us start with the coding few things. What we'll do is that we'll declare those variables here. So button, you can name it as login underscore button, and another one is cancel underscore button. Now this one is, we have to just adjust the import, and then we have to use text view and edit text. Now in this one, this control is called text view, this control is called edit text. So we'll use edit text. Edit text call et username underscore et comma password underscore et. So we have declared some variable for button and text. Now we have to create those button and text, right? So what I am going to do here is that equals to find view by id r.id dot button 1. I will just explain you, don't worry. Let me just type first. So basically what I am doing here is that I am creating the login button object based on this. But I did not use that new thing. Everybody knows about in Java, when you create object, you have to use new. But where is that new? Nowhere. Then how does it work? Basically, when you do r.id dot, it will pop up all those. These are the IDs which you have seen in your. So just hang on. I'm going to explain this line because this is very important. Now, what exactly is I did it? I did not do anywhere new button, new edit text. I'm doing something little different. That is not the way people write code in Java for creating objects. What we did is that in a typical way, you would think that to create a button, you would say that something like login button equals to new button, okay, and then you create the object. But here I am not doing that. What exactly happening is that there is something very interesting happening behind the scene, and what that means is that at this stage itself, all the objects which you saw in the screen, let me just show you again. All the objects which you saw in the screen, this user ID, this object, this, and this. For all of these, Android creates an object and keep it in memory ready already at this state. Sorry. So what it means is at this stage itself, all objects of UI layout is created and loaded in memory. So that's why you don't need to create those objects, because Android has already done for you. What exactly you have to do is that just get a reference to that object which is already created in the memory. And how do I get a reference to that? Very simple. This is the ID of that view or widget or control. Okay. This is method to search. And what this does is that find view by ID gets you a reference to the object which was already created and loaded in memory. And the only thing you need to do is that casting. Okay. So by doing this, what Android has done is that it makes your life easier and don't create that object again and again. Okay. Or make any mistake. So they have a much better optimized way to create those objects. So let me just explain. What we did here is that we have r.id.button1, which is the ID. Find view by ID is a method to search an object with this ID and then cast it into an object type called button and put that reference into login underscore button. So now I have all the 4 objects in a local variable called these. Okay. Once I have all of this, the next thing is very simple, and that is how to attach some kind of a click event or any logic into all of this. Okay. Any question? So let us go with that. Next thing what we are going to see is that how does, let us just arrange these things little nicely. Once we have this, let us put the logic that of few other things. I want to now do something. So what I will do is that I will create a listener class, and for that what you could do is that you can say either login underscore button dot add listener. Sorry, set there is a listener method. there is a method for adding the listener. So and that is set on key listener. So what we are going to do is that we can create a new method class called OnKeyListener and add it here. So that is one approach you can take it. So you can create here a OnKeyListener object and put it here. There is another way you can do is that instead of creating an OnListener method here, you can declare that this class itself implements OnKeyListener. Okay. So OnClickListener. And then it will say add unimplemented methods. What it brings that is there's something called onClick. So let us move this guy a little up here. Now by doing this, what you are saying is that whenever a method onClick is created, a button is clicked on this method will get triggered. Now this can happen for either of the button, login button or cancel button, because in all the cases you can do. Now if you want to attach a different listener, then you can do a different approach. So there are various approaches here possible, but I don't want to confuse people. So what I would do is that to start with, I will make it very simple, and I will say like this: login underscore button dot set on click listener, and I will say this. Okay. Now what this means is that this object works as a listener class as well because of implementing on click listener method interface. So we know that when an interface is implemented by a class, then that class acts as an object for this interface. So now this class becomes also an object which is implementing this interface. So here you have to do OnClickListener and then do this and put the logic what happens here at the time of doing anything. So what we will check is that now since there is a single method which is getting triggered by both the button, first we'll do check if v dot get id equals to r dot id dot button 1. Okay. If it is true, then there is a class called toast. And what is toast? Toast is a very useful, important method which is used for displaying some simple message on any screen. Basically, toast says pop-up, a small pop-up. Any point you want to do a small pop-up, this is a very good thing. Now, first thing it takes is that context, which is nothing but get base context. So don't worry about this get base context text. Let us assume I will say, hey, you clicked login button. Okay. And then this is the duration. How does this works? This works like this: toast dot and duration length, long or short. Let us give long. And then in the end, it will say so like this. And then this one. So basically, now we have done with a login button. We said set on click listener this, and we said implements on click listener. and we put the logic here. If the button which view is clicked has a ID called button1, then do this. Else, since we have only two buttons, so we don't have to worry about cancel button. Okay, so let us see this code once more. Okay, so this is our code. Now by doing this, let us run this one. And again, keep watching this guy. If anything, everything is going fine or not on the console screen. So far looks fine. So let us go back and go to this one. Now here I have put something for login, something for cancel. So let us click this button, login. And it says, hey, you click login button. Now I click cancel. And nothing happened. Hey, you click login button. Now when I say cancel, nothing is happening. When I say login, it is working. Why it is that? Now let us see. If v.getID equals to r.id button1, do this, else do this. Now we need to just figure out what happened here. Yes, the reason why it is not working is not because of this code. Very interesting. Why? It is not that this code is wrong. This code is fine. The problem is I have not attached this listener object for the cancel button. This cancel button need to be added for this one. Here. So once I associate the cancel button, so now my listener class, now this cancel button also has a listener, because if a button does not have a listener, then this method is of no use. So now I am saying that do this and then click this one. Okay, and I will say okay, go ahead and launch. Now both of the button have this same listener, so this code get triggered on both the button when get clicked. Earlier this code was getting triggered only when login button was there. Okay, so now let us see this. I want to check whether that console everything is fine. Yes, it looks everything fine. So go back here. Now again see login. Hey, you click login button. Cancel. Hey, you click cancel button. So now what happens is that both the buttons I have connected to this listener class by using this method, and this logic get triggered for both the cases, and depending on what button get clicked, you can put the logic. So these are the views based all of this. Now that brings us to important concept that if you want to put any interaction on a button, you can use this way. Okay, now what we'll see is that next how to do menus and handle the menu event. But before I get into the menu, let us get and understand a little bit about what is menu and how to create menu and all those things.